Lovely. Well, welcome today to our session called Rest as a Weapon, Strategic Recovery for Perimenopause. So if you are here feeling tired, foggy, wired but tired, or like you're running with your battery stuck at about 20%, you're not broken, you're not unfit, and you're definitely not failing. You are in the middle of a physiological transition that deserves a strategy. Today is not about slowing down or calming down. It's about learning to recover like a high performing woman in perimenopause, not like a 25-year-old who can survive on coffee and adrenaline and chaos. You made it here, which tells you and me an important thing that you're ready for a new way of operating. It's not about pushing harder, it's about pushing smarter. And let's just take a moment here, take a breath, because you are allowed to be here. You are allowed to prioritize yourself. And it is a brilliant thing that you are. So, just a little bit about me. I am a mum of four. Yes, there are only three children in that picture. We hadn't had COVID baby number four at that stage. But I'm a health and wellness specialist. I'm an executive coach, a wellness coach, a nutritionist, a personal trainer. I have a background in psychology and I specialize in working with women through the main transitions in their lives, like perimenopause. And I've spent over a decade coaching women through midlife, leadership, burnout, and rebuilding their strength one layer at a time. Because I've watched really incredible women fall apart quietly. And this was not because they lacked ambition, they lacked discipline, they lacked grit, but because they were using systems that were designed for bodies that weren't going through the hormonal turbulence that we all go through at perimenopause. And that's why I'm doing the session today. Because at this stage in our lives, more than ever, recovery in perimenopause, it's not optional. It's basically the performance lever. And when women learn to rest strategically, performance doesn't drop, it actually rises. So today, this is what we're going to cover. Why the push hard advice fails perimenopausal women. We're going to learn about hormones, the impact on the nervous system, energy, and mood. We're going to look at 3 recovery shifts that are going to help you to rebuild your strength from the inside out. We're going to go through a really simple weekly recovery rhythm that you can start to use immediately. And we're going to look at how to implement all of this without guilt or friction or self-judgment. It's going to be really practical, it's going to be simple, and it's going to be actionable. And you're going to leave the session today with some tools that you can start using tonight. So, let's start here. Let's have a look at this old model. Most women think that exhaustion means that they're failing, that they need to be stronger, that they need to be more disciplined, that they need to be more organized. But in perimenopause, low energy is not a character flaw. It's data, it's information for us. And it's not because your body is weaker that you are feeling this exhaustion. It's because your body is adapting. Now, the hormones impact 3 critical systems. Okay, cortisol impacts stress load, neurotransmitters for focus and mood, and the mitochondria for your energy production. So, what happens when we add more training, when we add more work, when we add more expectation, when we add more stress into our lives? We're not building strength, physical or emotional. We're basically compounding our depletion. So, the key message here is recovery isn't retreat, it's reinforcement. So, let's have a little look at what the research says. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because I know it doesn't float everyone's boat, but I'm very passionate about the research. So I can't not. So what do we see? Well, sleep problems increase during perimenopause and menopause. And that's because they are tightly linked to hormonal changes. So many women, the majority of women, in fact, report sleep disturbances during this transition. And that could be problems falling asleep, problems staying asleep, more nighttime awakenings, a lighter or more restless sleep, or waking up just feeling unrefreshed and like they've not had a good night. One study found that early perimenopausal women were 29% more likely to report trouble sleeping than premenopausal women. So, as our hormone levels, particularly estrogen and progesterone, what you will know as the sex hormones, when they shift or decline, these changes disrupt sleep regulation, body temperature, so think hot flushes and night sweats, and actually the circadian rhythms. Another really interesting study found that 40 to 69% of women will experience poor sleep, whatever that means to them. So, what does all of this say to us? Perimenopause is a high risk period for sleep disruption. This isn't just normal tiredness. This isn't just tiredness because you've got a lot on your plate. It's the physiological effect of your hormones changing. And that's a really important message. The research also tells us that these hormone changes affect sleep and your stress response and your energy levels. So again, the declining estrogen and progesterone impair, so they make it harder for the body to regulate sleep and stress. So for instance, reduced estrogen affects neurotransmitters and melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. This makes it much harder to fall asleep and stay asleep because you're not producing as much melatonin as you were before. At the same time, hormone shifts can dysregulate the stress response system, which is the HP axis. This leads to more cortisol, which is the stress hormone, running around your system. And again, the more cortisol in your system, the less easy it is to fall asleep, the more it impacts your energy, your mood, and your overall metabolic health. And the research shows us that this poor sleep architecture, so less deep sleep, more waking up, a worse sleep efficiency, correlates significantly with higher cortisol levels in perimenopausal women. So, what does all of this tell us? Well, it suggests that when hormonal fluctuation makes sleep and rest harder, the stress system becomes more reactive. Your energy gets drained, and your mood and resilience suffer. And this makes rest and recovery at this time in our lives not optional, nice to have, but absolutely essential. So, rest and recovery have been shown to ease symptoms of perimenopause. Okay, so adequate, good quality sleep and good rest hygiene appear to be key for stabilizing symptoms like insomnia, mood swings, fatigue, brain fog, and disrupted energy, which are all very, very common symptoms of perimenopause. Some studies, and this involves clinical observations, suggest that sleep, and therefore part of that is the rest and recovery, moderate or buffer the negative effects of menopausal symptoms so they can reduce hot flushes, which are related with sleep issues. They can mitigate cortisol spikes, that stress response, and they can improve mood and cognitive symptoms. So, interventions that combine behavioral habits, so things like gentle exercise, breath work, so stress management techniques, healthy sleep hygiene, regular movement, and rest cycles will improve the sleep quality and help with hormone related symptoms during this transition. So, what does all of this mean? It means that a recovery first, hormone aware lifestyle, including rest, including gentle movement, including stress regulation, including sleep hygiene, is going to support better functioning physically and mentally during perimenopause. And this, in turn, will lead to improved energy, better mental clarity, better mood stability, and overall improved resilience, all of which I know we all want. So, what have we learnt here from the science? Well, when estrogen fluctuates, when it goes up and down, the nervous system becomes more reactive. This means that stress hits the system harder. It means that sleep breaks more easily. It means that tools like caffeine are going to work less reliably. It means that recovery needs are greater than they have ever been before. And if we keep living like we're 25, with late nights, high stress, intense training, your nervous system is definitely going to respond with anxiety. It's going to respond with fatigue, that kind of wired fatigue, emotional volatility, and brain fog. And this isn't because you're moody. It's because your brain is rewiring And our job is not to just push through it, as we do so much in our lives. Our job is to stabilize the system that all of this is happening within. So, what can we do? Where do we start? Well, I really think the first place to start is by changing the narrative, which is so often the case around women's health. We need to change the narrative. Rest is not weakness. Rest is not laziness. Given how the hormonal fluctuations affect sleep, energy, and stress responses, resting intentionally is actually a very smart, very strategic response and not a failure. So, quality sleep and recovery are absolutely foundational. Rather than that kind of brute force push harder, the research and the evidence is pointing to a focus on stabilizing hormones and stress systems as being the key to sustainable energy and performance through midlife. So, supporting recovery needs to be a lever for well-being, retention, and performance. And for women going through this transition, and for the organizations that are wanting to keep their women in place and that care about the long-term performance and retention of these women, supporting rest it's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely foundational because the physiological changes are ongoing and the benefits of rest and recovery accrue over time, they compound over time, and consistency matters so much more than having the occasional rest day. So let's look at three little practical shifts that you can start making to implement what we've just learned. So the first one is the new goal not being about exhaustion, being about adaptation. Okay, it's capacity over depletion. So we want to think about building strength over lots of sweating. Okay, we want to think about lots of walking rather than frantic cardio. We want to think about nervous system down regulation over those kind of high adrenaline spikes. And when you stop training and working for depletion, and you start training and working for capacity, your energy will increase instead of crash. And you don't need less ambition. It's not about suddenly like calming down and winding down for, old age. It's not that at all. But you need a training strategy that is actually going to match and work with your biology as it is now. And that needs a complete strategy change. So, recovery shift two. If you're like most women, you're either on, all going, the cylinders firing, or you're completely collapsed and exhausted on the sofa, unable to do anything else. But we can't just have these two extremes, right? We need to have a third setting. We need to have a more neutral setting. And this is where micro recovery comes from. This is where these small daily micro recoveries really are a powerful tool. And it can be very, very simple things and it can be different for everybody. So here are just a few suggestions. Stopping in the day for 3 minutes of breathing. Having 10 minutes of sun on your face and on your eyes during the day. Making sure you're starting the day with a really, really good breakfast full of protein and fiber. Having good sleep hygiene, turning off the screens, taking your phone away before you go to sleep. Having space between tasks. Now, this is obviously easier said than done, but not booking all your meetings back to back to back to back, where you get absolutely no downtime, no rest time, no thinking time in between your meetings. Schedule them so you have that 15 minutes where you can go make yourself a cup of tea and just take a moment for yourself. Small recovery doses is what we need because your energy isn't built in your weekends. It's not built in your summer holidays. Energy is built in the tiny, frequent interventions that you make every single day. Okay, recovery shift number three. It's to look at sleep as a performance tool. And sleep's a really interesting one. Like, people will brag about, oh, I went to the gym 3 times this week, pat myself on the back, I'm really good. You never hear people go, oh, I had 8 hours of sleep last night. It's not like a bragging right. It's still seen for some bizarre reason as lazy. If you get a lot of sleep, or you're a bit lazy, or you're not being productive if you're sleeping, you're not getting stuff done if you're sleeping. Absolutely not. At this time in life, more than any other, sleep is literally medicine for your hormones. And in perimenopause, as we've just learned, your sleep is super, super fragile. So we need to optimize it deliberately. And there are loads and loads of ways that you can do this. Here are a few suggestions. Start winding down for the night earlier, right? When we have children, we put them into a bedtime routine. We don't expect them to go from running around straight into bed, right? They get in their jammies. We might read them a story, give them a bath, turn the lights down, give them a little massage or whatever it might be. They have that wind down routine. So often we're like email, 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 shut the laptop and expect to go to sleep. But we're not robots. We don't have a button that you just turn off. Okay. So we really need to appreciate that we as well need a wind down. And it can't be 2 minutes before we go to bed. Okay. It needs to be a significant wind down period. We're going to have low light, low screen usage. We want to make sure that we're having evening meals which are sustaining and nourishing us, full of protein and magnesium. It's going to help us sleep. Doing breath work and stress management techniques just to calm us down in the evening time. And this isn't all because you're delicate, okay? This isn't because, something's wrong with you. This is because you're strategic, right? This is because you know what you want to achieve, and there are things that you know that you can do to ensure that you do achieve it. Rest is a weapon. It's a tool for you to have in your toolkit. And it's important at this time that you actually start using it. Because women who learn to use rest strategically outperform those women who try to outrun themselves, because those are the women that burn out. So we're just going to do a really quick central nervous system hack, okay? And this is super simple. This is something that you can do at any time in the day. And all you're going to do is you're going to place a hand on your chest or on your belly, or you could do one on each. And you're going to gently close your eyes. You're going to inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. And I will do this for you. I'll count you through it. And you're going to do it 5 times. Okay, just 5 times, and you will find that that calms down your central nervous system. Okay, because what it's doing is stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so the opposite system to the fight or flight, which is essentially what we are in 90% of the time. Okay, and this is a way to just calm yourself down really quickly. Okay, so we're going to do it now so that you can see the impact, you can see the benefit, and you can see how quick and easy it is. Okay, so just gently closing your eyes. I want you to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keeping your eyes closed, just return to your normal breathing pattern. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes and just turning inwards, just asking yourself, how did that literally 1.5 minutes? How has that changed the way that I'm feeling? How has that changed the reactivity of my central nervous system? Because that essentially is central nervous system regulation. It's recovery, it's strength, and it's so, so easy to do. So we're going to have a look at your new weekly recovery rhythm, is what I've called it. And this is the part that you can actually apply immediately. It's a way to give your week, your training, a little bit of structure and a way for it to actually work for you. Okay. Ideally, this is what it looks like. It doesn't have to look like this, but I would recommend at least two strength training sessions a week. What we want to do is we want to be loading those bones, we want to be loading those muscles. Okay, muscle is metabolically active, it's going to help with weight control, it's going to help with building resistance, it's going to help with preventing osteoporosis. And muscle really is the organ of longevity. The more muscle you have, the longer life and health span you are going to have. So really trying to build in those strength sessions, working with a trainer, working with somebody if you've never done it before is really key. One aerobic session per week. We want to get the blood flowing, well, we want to get the heart beating, and it's so important for your brain health. So one aerobic session per week. We want to then do daily micro recovery. And again, I gave you a few little suggestions, but it really could be anything that just calms you, relaxes you, and makes you feel good and taken care of. And trying to schedule those in every single day. And it doesn't, when I talk about this with people, they're like, oh, I can't have a massage every day. I'm not talking about these huge things. I'm talking about micro things, little tiny things. And then one evening of real restoration. And this is where you are prioritizing sleep. This is where, even though you're halfway through that Netflix episode, you're going to turn it off because it's 10 o'clock or because it's 10:30. And that is the time you need to go to bed. It's prioritizing your sleep. Okay. So stop doing whatever it is you're doing. Turn the lights out when you know you need to be going to sleep. No excuses. This isn't about being perfect. It's not Instagram wellness, golden bullets. It's sustainable. Okay. It's essentially should be relatively easy for all of us. And this success that coming from doing something like this, it's not measured in intensity. It's measured in consistency without burning out, without collapsing, without exhaustion, because we are building that resilience. We are building that muscle back up. And that's a really important thing that we need to learn from this. Because if you remember one thing today, let it be this: your body isn't slowing down. It's asking you for a new strategy. And when you give your body and your brain the right strategy, it is going to thrive. Strength at this age isn't in force, strength is in recovery. Rest is not about stepping back, giving up. Rest is about stepping forwards and stepping forwards with power. So, before we wrap up, if you want to go deeper into your body, your hormones, your energy patterns, you can book a free brain fog clarity session with me, which is half an hour where we find a lot of different things that might be impacting your energy. And we can send that around to you. Dorcas will do that for you. Does anybody have any questions? No questions?
Yeah. Can I just yes, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you. I can't see you, but I can hear
Sorry.
you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just trying. I was going to change my phone round. And that's what I was trying to do as well, because it's sort of weird when it was
Don't
easier for
worry.
reading those things. But yeah. Hi again. So the
Yeah,
micro
covering.
rest is what the sort of the breathing was what we did. Is that the micro rest
So
really?
that way it can be. So the breathing was a way to relax your central nervous system. So when you're very wired, so often women at this stage in life get wired but tired, right? They're exhausted, but they're wired, right? So that's just a
Yeah.
really easy way to just hack into calming down your central nervous system. The micro recovery is almost more strategic. It's almost, I would encourage you to try and schedule it into your day. So say you've had, a hardcore meeting, right? And you know you're going to be a bit depleted after that meeting. Well, schedule in 10 minutes after that meeting, diarize it, right? This is important for you, for your recovery. It's not a waste of time. It's not, you're not scrolling Instagram, right? You're not reading Daily Mail online. This is important tool for you to have to enable you to perform at your best. And it's that
Yeah, the
reframing and being like,
preventative.
right, this,
Yeah,
and different
yeah.
things work for different people, right? For me, I might like to go and get a cup of tea and a chocolate biscuit and just sit, just dip, just do nothing, listen to a bit of music while I'm doing it. That is really restful to me, right? Because when my kids get home, when I'm on, I don't have time to do that, but I enjoy it and it replenishes me. So it could be different for everybody. But just doing things that right, this is a time in my day where actually I feel crap, or actually I'm exhausted, or actually I know this is going to be happening. Well, schedule 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, at that time into your diary so nobody can book anything else, where you do something that you know is going to replenish you. And yes, it could be breath work because breath work's excellent. It can be energizing as well as relaxing. And there are loads and loads of different breath work techniques. And you might want to find one that actually gives you energy rather than relaxes you.
Great. Thank you. Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? All good. All right, 12:30 on the dot. I hope that gives you a little bit of time to have a little micro rest after this before you get back to your full-on day. Well, thank you very much for joining me. And this is being recorded, so you can rewatch it, you can share it, whatever you like. So have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.